and today we're making sweet and sour ribs. These sweet and sour ribs are made by my mother and my grandmother very often. We eat this almost every single week. And this is something we make when friends come over and when it's a certain holiday, so it is something that my family eats very often. It is also very simple to make and very delicious. So let's get started. For the ingredients you will need: 1,000 grams of pork ribs, 2 tablespoons of oil, 3 tablespoons of rock sugar, 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of vinegar, 1 piece of ginger sliced, 1 green onion chopped, and 1 tablespoon of toasted white sesame seeds. I already have my pre-cut pork ribs here. It is about 1,000 grams. So the size of my pork ribs takes about half an hour to cook, but if your ribs are bigger, then it might take longer. When it comes to making these sweet and sour pork ribs, there's this process called blanching it. And there's 2 ways to actually do this. The first way is to leave the meat in some boiling water from 1 to 2 minutes until there's a layer of foam on top. And the second way is to leave it in some running water, which I have done before in my steamed pork ribs and taro video. And doing this keeps more of the freshness. The goal for both of these processes is to get rid of the blood inside of the meat and the bones. But if you don't care if you have some blood inside of it, then you could totally skip this step. Now we're just going to fill the bowl with some water, and when it starts to come out, turn it down until it's just a small stream, and just leave it like that for about 15 to 20 minutes. While we're blanching the ribs, we're going to start slicing up the ginger and the green onion. So I have already peeled my ginger, and I'm just going to slice it into nice and big slices. After about 20 minutes, I'm going to turn off the water. And you can see the water has sort of a pinkish color into it because all the blood has came out. And I'm just going to dump away this water. After blanching the ribs, I'm just going to dry it off with some kitchen paper towels. Once all the ingredients are ready, we could start to cook it. So you want to prepare a pan with a lid. We're just going to turn this on to high heat. After about 30 seconds, the pan is nice and hot. So I'm going to add in the oil. I'm using 2 tablespoons of grapeseed oil here today, but you could use any type of flavorless oil you want. Then I'm going to throw in the slices of ginger. And then just dump in all of the ribs, and be careful here. Sauteing the ribs is going to give it a nice coat of oil, which is going to make it smell better. And we only want to give it a light golden brown color. You don't want to take it too far because it's going to become too dry. So you only need to saute this for about 5 minutes. Once it's a color like this, it's nice and golden brown on both sides. It is ready, so we're going to take it out of the pan. Now we're going to use the leftover oil and some of the fat from the ribs to melt our rock sugar. And this is brown rock sugar here, but if you can't find this, you could also use brown sugar. We're going to add this in and melt it until it becomes a syrup. Now I'm giving it a slight stir, just flatten it out. And now we're just going to leave it until it melts. You can see the sugar has melted. So we turned it down to medium-low heat. You can see it's nice and golden brown and syrupy. Now we're going to add in the ribs from earlier. Now we're going to coat the ribs with the sugar syrup. You can see it's nice and brown now. Once the ribs are coated with the sugar syrup, we're going to add in the vinegar. Now there's 3 tablespoons of vinegar in total, but we're only going to add in 2 tablespoons now. Then add in the soy sauce. We're going to give it a little stir and then add in the water. Now add in enough water to cover most of the ribs. Add in enough water to cover most of the ribs. I used about 2.5 cups. So now we're going to put on the lid and cook this on high heat until it starts to boil. And then we're going to turn it down to medium heat and cook it for another 30 minutes. You can see this has started to boil. Now we're going to turn it down from high to medium and cook it for about 30 minutes. While this is cooking for 30 minutes, you could give it a stir once or twice midway to make sure everything is nice and even. Minutes are up, the ribs are now cooked and it's almost done. So now we're going to thicken up the soup into a sauce. I'm just going to take off the lid and turn the heat up to high. Now we're going to add in the leftover tablespoon of vinegar. We're adding in 1 more tablespoon of vinegar now because the 2 tablespoons we added in earlier has lost quite of its flavor during the 30 minutes of cooking. And this is a sweet and sour rib indeed, so it should have some more vinegar flavor. So we're just going to add in 1 more tablespoon. Now we're just going to thicken the soup into a sauce, and you want to be careful to not take it too far. You can see the sauce is getting thicker and thicker. You want to keep a really close eye on this, because if you let this go too far, then there won't be any sauce left. You can see this is almost ready. As soon as it's thick enough, turn off the heat. You can see there's still enough sauce inside. And now we're going to turn off the heat. For a final touch, we're going to add in some white roasted sesame seeds. You can see the sauce is nice and thick, but there is still enough left. That's how you make sweet and sour pork ribs. These are really good cold or warm. They go perfectly with rice, noodles, and spaghetti. It is a really simple traditional Chinese dish that you can eat anytime once you know how to make it, so you no longer have to go to restaurants in order to eat this dish. It is really good. It has a nice sweetness and sourness, and the meat is really soft because of how long we cooked it. So if you know how to make this, I promise you would love it. So thanks for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye!